Hello, and welcome to Candidates Up Front. This is the public interest election program of Berks Community Television and the League of Women Voters of Berks County. I'm Judith Cranus, a member of the League. Our November 5th general election is coming up, and we will be voting for both state officials and federal officials. The deadline to register is Monday, October 21st. The League is interviewing candidates in contested races, those who wanted to be interviewed. And for each race, the candidates will get the same basic questions and will have the same amount of time to answer them.
Hello, I'm Bill Litfin. Two candidates are competing in the 126th Pennsylvania House District, Democrat Jacqueline Rusnak and Republican James D. Oswald. It is an open seat. There is no incumbent. The district includes Laureldale, Mount Penn, St. Lawrence, Muhlenberg, Lower Alsetts, and parts of the city of Reading and Exeter Township. State representatives serve a 2-year term in the state legislature in Harrisburg. They initiate legislation and vote to create laws. They pass the budget, including taxes and expenditures of the state. They help constituents with issues regarding state government. The salary for a state representative is $106,422 per year plus benefits and expenses. Please note that the opinions expressed in this interview are those of the candidate and are not the opinions of the League of Women Voters or Berks Community Television. This interview is with James D. Oswald. Welcome.
Thank you.
Mr. Oswald, tell our viewers about yourself and why you are running.
I'm a graduate of Mount Penn High School. I served 20 years in the United States Navy Reserve, Seabees. I've been a volunteer firefighter, EMT, for over 30 years, and a township supervisor for 18 years. During that time as a supervisor, I also sat on the Police Commission for Central Berks, which I currently still sit on. I'm married to my wife Tammy for 39 years, and I have a daughter, Emily, who's 27 years old.
Okay, and what are the two most compelling issues on which, if elected, you feel you can make a difference?
School property taxes is the one. Over the years, we've been promised many times, when they brought gambling to the state of Pennsylvania, they promised us a relief in school property taxes. Hasn't happened. It's time that we take the brunt of taxes off the homeowner and put it on all of society and not just homeowners. In my district, I have Lower Alsetts Township, Antietam School District. We have the highest taxes in Berks County, and we have residents that are elderly and are having to sell their homes because they can no longer afford the taxes, and that just shouldn't be right. You shouldn't, basically you're renting your home, you're not owning your home, and that's not right. You should be able to own your home and be done with it.
Okay, and is there a second?
Yes, I think we need to bring the fracking needs. I get up north now and then, and I see the fracking, and I think we need to do keep fracking going, and bring we got to work on the economy to bring the economy back around, because prices of you're not paying the same amount now for fuel and groceries as you were a few years ago, and we need to get the prices back down where people can afford them.
Do you think Pennsylvania's elections are fair?
For the most part.
Will you support the results of the election as certified by the county?
Yes.
Will you support the certified results at all levels of government?
Yes.
Both parties say they are pro-family, but they propose and vote for very different things. What legislation do you feel is pro-family?
Well, I think I'm dealing with two elderly parents who are that are dealing with dementia issues, and I think at some point the state needs to make, I don't know how you do it. Everybody's stretched thin for money, but there's a lot of people in my situation. Just like there's younger families that have healthcare, daycare issues. There has to be a way to help people with those issues, and I don't know how we do it yet, but we can look into that.
Okay, and Canada and European nations have paid parental leave. They also have programs to support women when they're pregnant as well as after birth. Are those things you could support?
I'd have to investigate them further, but I would think so.
Okay. What specific ideas do you have to increase the supply and quality of affordable housing and to preserve existing affordable housing?
Well, first off, finding areas to create new housing is a concern of mine. I'm totally against destroying farmland to make housing developments. Because the problem will come is, what good is a house if you can't feed yourself once you're in that house? So we need to preserve farmland. I think there's enough properties around that are vacant that could be rehabbed. As shopping malls are dying, you could tear them down and turn them into housing developments. But I think we have to protect that stuff. As far as lowering the cost, if we got rid of property taxes, the landlords wouldn't be paying that. You would hope the landlords would then lower the cost of their rents because they're not having to cover that expensive bill.
Okay. Our Pennsylvania Constitution requires the state to provide 50% of the money needed to run our schools. And while the state has increased school funding in the past 2 budgets, it is still way below 50%. This shifts the burden to local property taxes. How would you address this taxing issue?
Well, I believe we should get rid of school property tax and raise the sales tax and cover it on that. I think everything you buy should have a sales tax to it, except for prescription medication. That way, the elderly people that are on a lot of prescription meds aren't going to get hit with that extra expense. But if we taxed everything, soda, candy, whatever, when someone's traveling through the state of Pennsylvania and they stop at a convenience store to get a snack, they're going to be helping to pay to educate the children in Pennsylvania, as well as, again, when Governor Rendell pushed for gambling, they said that would relieve our taxes, and it didn't. We need to go back and take that money and put it back where it belongs.
Okay. When an assault weapon or a large capacity magazine is used in a public mass shooting, nearly 14 times as many people are injured and twice as many people are killed. Our neighboring states, New York, New Jersey, and Maryland, all have assault weapon bans. Do you support an assault weapons ban for Pennsylvania? Why or why not?
No, I do not. An assault weapon is a fictitious name. An assault weapon is no different than a hunting rifle with a large capacity magazine. It just looks scarier. If guns were truly the issue, there's more guns in the United States than there are people in the United States. If guns were truly the issue, we would all be gone by now. I feel that mental health is where we need to start going. It's just like the incident that just happened. The FBI looked into that child, I guess, a year ago, and they couldn't find they didn't find anything. They took him at his word, and now look what we're dealing with. I think they need to look more into that and less into the weapons, because anything is an assault weapon, whether it be a shovel, a gun, a rake, it doesn't matter. Anything that kills a person is an assault weapon.
Pennsylvania doesn't require secure weapon storage. Should we have laws requiring secure storage of weapons? Should parents who have not secured their weapons be held accountable for crimes committed by their children?
I believe secure weapons is common sense. I don't know that there should have to be. At what point do you draw a line on how many laws you have? Parents should be smart enough to secure their weapons so their children can't get at them. I have weapons in my house, and when my daughter was younger and lived at home, she knew not to touch my weapons. I had them where if she worked hard enough, she could have got to them, but she knew she better not get to them. So I think it's more of a common sense thing. As far as if a child does commit a crime with a weapon, I believe there should be some penalty to the parents. I'm not sure exactly what, but they should have to pay some price too, because it's their fault.
Okay. The Bipartisan Safer Communities Act of 2022 provides $50 million in federal grants to states with red flag warning laws. These laws allow a court to determine if a violent person may own a gun. Such laws are often used in cases of domestic abuse. Should Pennsylvania have such a law, it could increase our budget for violence prevention programs.
I would need to read the act of 2022, because red flag warning laws, as I understand it, are not anyone can accuse anyone, And when that happens and they kick in a door, two things happen. The first person through the door is going to get shot by the homeowner, and then the homeowner is going to get shot by the second person through the door. So, I think there needs to be more, if red flag laws, I think need to have more, you need to have more information before you can just go collect someone's guns. I'm pro Second Amendment, so I'm not too quick to want to take people's guns away from them. But if someone is a wife abuser, or a husband abuser, because it can go both ways, sure, then yes, I think there should be the right to collect those weapons.
Okay, and this requires the court to determine. It's not just someone accused.
Right.
So in that regard, you'd be
correct.
Okay. Berks County is 50% agricultural. We know growing seasons have changed. Pennsylvania has been spared the massive destruction of wildfires, but we have floods, drought, and destructive storms. Should Pennsylvania do more to protect our economy by doing more to prevent climate change? What actions do you think the legislature should or shouldn't take?
I don't know how we, excuse me. I don't know how we can change climate change that drastically. I'm more concerned with the preservation of farmland in general. I mean, if you go up to outside of Fleetwood, they took I don't know how many acres of farmland and turned it into a solar farm. Again, what good is electric if you don't have anything to cook with? If you don't have any meal to cook because you lost the farmland. I'm big into preserving farmland, and luckily most farmland is usually not located in a place where it's going to get affected by the storms that much. It's affected by lack of rain, but I don't know that we can affect that.
Okay. Let's talk about fuel, fossil and sustainable. Should our laws and budget support one more than the other, or both equally? Should state regulation require the same safety standards in both?
What do you mean by safety standards?
Regulations about how to safely store or use.
All right. I don't believe we should push one over the other. I mean, I'm all in favor of alternative fuels, but I don't think that's the be-all end-all. Every alternative fuel every fuel source has a downside. Gasoline or diesel, it's the claims of the pollution. With EVs, you have the problem where the cars, what do you do with the batteries? The other problem with EVs is they weigh a lot more than a normal car, so their tires wear out harder, and they're getting little bits of rubber that are actually getting into our water system, which are going to pollute our water systems. Windmills are killing birds. So the environmentalists say, "Oh, we need to get rid of cars," but then they put a windmill up and it kills birds. So, what did you do? I think we should leave things. I think we need everything until something really pans out to be way better.
Okay. Some people say fracking is safe. Some people say it's not safe. What do you think?
My brother owns a hunting camp up north, and I go up there every summer, and I talk to the people that live in the area, and he's right in the heart of fracking. And there's a few people that have had issues with their wells, but for the most part, most of the people there, are all in favor of it. The amount of money it's brought into their economy versus the side effects of that, I don't think one doesn't outweigh the other.
Most Pennsylvania House and Senate seats are won in spring primary elections when Democrats and Republicans choose their candidates. One reason is gerrymandering, creating voting districts where one party always wins. After each U.S. Census, House and Senate leaders behind closed doors draw new voting districts, rewarding friends and making it harder for enemies. House Bill 1776 and Senate Bill 1076 would amend our Constitution so a transparent, independent citizen commission draws the lines. States with this system say candidates from major parties are more moderate and better able to work together. Would you vote to create an independent citizen commission to draw legislative districts after the next census?
I'd be in favor of that.
Okay. And the second reason seats are won in the primary is closed primaries. Pennsylvania is one of 9 states where one must be registered as a Democrat or Republican to vote in a primary. This leaves out 1.2 million Pennsylvania voters. Open primaries produce more moderate or centrist candidates who pass more bipartisan legislation. Should Pennsylvania change how we run our primary elections, and why do you feel as you do?
I have a lot of as we were speaking earlier, I have a lot of friends that are independents, and that's one of their biggest complaints is that they don't get to participate in the primary. So I would be in favor of open primaries.
Bipartisanship and compromise at our State House are rare, so there are few accomplishments even when the majority of constituents agree on an issue. Do you intend to increase and improve bipartisanship, and how would you do it?
I like to think I'd like to govern by common sense. So if the other side brings something to the table that makes sense, I would vote for it.
Okay. We have 2 minutes left.
Okay.
Actually, 3 minutes.
Okay.
Would you like to make a closing statement?
Yes. So, again, I spent 18 years as a township supervisor in Lower Alsace Township, and during those 18 years, I've seen a lot of what the state does and doesn't do for the communities, and so from that standpoint, I feel I'm the best candidate because I have a better understanding of how things work there. Likewise, being a volunteer firefighter and EMT for the last 30 plus years, I see where the state has failed short. You know, although they have given us a lot of funding, they have failed short on certain things. One of the things was the insurance payments. Now they have come around, and now they're changing. The state has seen the error of their ways. Medicaid is starting to up the amount of money for ambulances because every year we lose more and more ambulances across the state of Pennsylvania, and the time was going to come when you would call 911 and no ambulance would show up because there wouldn't be any ambulances left. So we need to invest in EMS. We need to invest in volunteer. Pennsylvania has more volunteer fire companies than any state in the country, and as long as we have those volunteer fire companies, we're saving money. You know, when the day comes, you have to go to fully paid fire departments. If you think your taxes are high now, your taxes will be unbelievable then. So, we need to support those things. We need to support volunteer firefighters. We need to support EMTs, and the ambulance companies. Sitting on the Central Berks Police Commission, I've seen, there's been money that has come in the way of grants and that for that. But, every municipality, that's the biggest part of their budget is policing, and we need to start covering that. They want body cams. People complain that I was treated poorly. Well, then the state needs to come up and finance body cams for all the police officers so that we can see the truth. Are the people really being treated wrongly, or was it just their opinion, and they're just trying to get out of it? So, like I said, I have the most experience compared to my opponent, and I hope you vote for me, and thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Mr. Oswald, for sharing your views with us. Viewers, please remember there is another candidate for the 126th Pennsylvania House District, Jacqueline Rosnock. You can see that interview on BCTV's website or YouTube page. To check your voting status, go to vote.pa.gov. You can register, change your party, locate your polling place, or apply for an absentee or mail-in ballot. The deadline to register is October 21st. The deadline to apply for a mail-in ballot is October 29th, and November 5th, Tuesday, November 5th, is Election Day. Please also check the League's online voters guide, vote411.org, to confirm your voting district and get more information on the candidates. All you have to do is go to the website, type in your address, and it'll give you information about the candidates and their responses to our questions. You can also get information by contacting Berks County Election Services. Their email address is elections@countyofberks.com. Their phone number is 610-478-6490. Thank you for watching Candidates Up Front. I'm Bill Litvin. Good day.